Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. If you're not a part of the family yet, I hope you'll go down below, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. Turn it all the way up. That way you can get notified of any and all future uploads. You see the thumbnail and the title, it looks like something that you want to come over and see, then come on over and say hi. When you get here, make sure you hit that thumbs up. You can go do that right now. It really means a lot to me as well, and it helps out my channel. It lets YouTube know that you enjoy seeing my content. Go down below, leave a comment, and let me know, what do you do on St. Patrick's Day? Because this video is going to be going up on St. Patrick's Day. So let me know, what do you guys do? Do you go out? Do you just chill at home? Well, maybe this year you might be chilling at home, but on a normal, regular year when you're not in a pandemic, what do you do on St. Patrick's Day? I don't really do much. I have gone out to the bar in the past for St. Patrick's Day, you know, get all my green on and go out. Today's video is Get Ready With Me Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday, me and my girl Kat from Florida. We've been doing this for over a year now, and I really enjoy having this consistency and being able to look forward to seeing her video and how her week went and listening to her story times when she tells them. You know, she's amazing. I always leave her channel link down below in the description box so you can find her. But if for some reason the link doesn't work, I'll leave a picture up here so you know the name and who you're looking for when you go to find her. If you want to see what palette I'm going to use today and the look that I'm going to do and maybe a little story time that we're going to tell, then stick around because I'll be right back. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Let me get into what is on my face right now. I used my NYX Marshmallow Primer. This stuff, amazing. I'm just saying, and I'm not taking it with me on my trip. I'm leaving it here because I don't want to risk losing it. For my concealer, I used my BizyBeauty concealer, and this is in the shade Light Beige. Although, I think for concealers, I need to get like more of a light ivory to fit my wants and needs. And then I used my Wet n Wild Photo Focus, and this is in Golden Beige. I used a little bit of this Wet n Wild, and this is in Fair Beige. Maybe Fair Beige would be a good one because I like to use lighter ones under here, and that BizyBeauty one's a little bit dark, but I used this to put on my lids. I used this CoverGirl Clear Professional setting powder for my face. For my bronzer, I used this Avon light bronze, and that's what that looks like. Obviously I've enjoyed it because I panned it. And then of course I used my Pacifica bronzer blush palette, but I just used the blush because I'm trying to pan that as well. For my brows, I used my e.l.f. taupe brow pencil because I love that. Was there anything else that I did? I don't think so. Now we can get into the palette. And since it's St. Patrick's Day, we're going to do a green look with our little The Child palette because I love it. This is what the colors look like. I think it's going to be perfect for today. So let's get into the look. I'm going to go ahead and use this blinged brush, which is E15, I believe, if I'm reading it correctly. I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know. First, I think we're going to use, I think this is Baby Face right here, this green in the middle. And I'm going to use that in the crease. Or maybe I should go in with, no, I'm going to go in with that one. Stick to your plan, Renee, stick to your plan. Today's story time, I'm not really sure. You know, I got a couple things that I could talk about. Maybe we can talk about my junior because it's a holiday and I don't want to talk about anything sad. How's that looking right there? I was 29 when I got pregnant with my son. He is my one and only. I actually didn't think I would ever have a kid. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, society has this expectation of women, I think, that you need to be married and pop out a couple kids by a certain age. I mean, I had that belief, which is why when I got to the age that I did and hadn't been married and didn't have any kids, I had felt like it was never going to happen. You're never going to get married. You're never going to have kids. And it was hard because it was, you know, you feel like as a woman, certain things are expected of you, you know. And my sister she had one son, and she was, I think, 24 when she had my nephew. So, you know, her having a kid at a younger age, not like younger, like teenage young, but she was still pretty young. When I look back now, you know, 25, wasn't ready to have a kid at that age. Would I have done it? Yes, because women do it all the time. Am I saying that it's a negative thing to have a child that young? No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, for me, looking back, I feel like that I wasn't ready. You know, I wasn't in a stable relationship. I didn't have, you know, a job that really, you know, I had a job that paid for me to survive. But, and again, I would have made it work had I had a child at a younger age, but I don't feel like I was ready. And I'm thankful now that I was 30 before I had my son. Because even then, I wasn't in like a career, so to speak, to where I was, you know, is anybody ever really ready to have a kid? I think you can plan all you want, but every situation is different, and you can't, you know, it's like when you listen to women talk about their birth plans and stuff, and how when it actually came time, things didn't go as planned, you know. Things didn't go planned for me as well. It was not the best pregnancy, I can tell you that. I liked being pregnant. It just wasn't, I didn't feel all that great. Well, no, I didn't like being pregnant. I'm going to use this color right here and put it on my lid. And that is Sipping Soup. And it's not that I didn't like being pregnant. I liked being pregnant. I just didn't like the morning sickness and the uncomfortableness of it. And my son didn't move a lot when I was pregnant, which really sucked, you know, because I wouldn't feel him move for, you know, hours. And then you start to freak out. You're like thinking, is everything okay? Because you haven't felt the baby move. So I would push on my stomach, and then he would kick me. And I'd be like, okay, I'm sorry. Just wanted to make sure that you were still there. And my sister-in-law, she had a baby that died from SIDS. So my ex-husband, that was something he worried about when my son was first born. He was always worried about him, you know, stopping breathing and stuff. So it was like, it's not like it happens to every baby. And I don't think it's like something that happens from generation to generation, or it's not hereditary. You know what I mean? I'm going to go in with Float Your Crib, which is this color right here. And I'm going to put it out here and underneath. And I'm going to use this smudger brush. It really got uncomfortable towards the end too. Like, it felt like, I don't know if this is TMI or not, but like between your legs, like they sit right there. Oh my God, it was so painful. Not like painful, like crying painful, uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And I used to get Braxton Hicks all the time. And there was a girl that one of my friends, she was pregnant at work too. So we were both pregnant together. She was a little further along than I was, but we used to get compared a lot on our pregnancies because we were pregnant at the same time. And because of my age, she was a little bit younger than me. But because of my age, there was things I didn't want to do, like picking up the coin boxes and stuff like that. I didn't want to risk hurting my son. And they would be like, well, she does this and this and this and this. And yeah, she's also taller, bigger, stronger, younger. And granted, 30 is not that old, but I still was concerned, because like I said, society expects you to have kids at a certain age, and I think your body kind of expects it as well. Maybe not that, not teenager young, but like I think that women's bodies are made to carry children at a certain age, because you know how they set up the thing, like when you're after a certain age, you have to get all these tests to make sure your kid doesn't have any like birth defects and stuff like that, because your age, it certainly makes you feel old, doesn't it? So because I was 30, I didn't want to take any chances. So there were certain things that I wouldn't do, and they compared us all the time. But pregnancy was not my favorite. I liked being pregnant, growing a baby, but like I said, it was just like the things that come along with it that kind of sucked. I did kind of start going into labor 6 weeks early. My due date was, I think it was November 27th was my due date. And 6 weeks prior to that, I had started having contractions, and people at work kept telling me it's just Braxton Hicks. It's just Braxton Hicks. But they would last for so long. And they were so often, it would be like one right after the other. And so I got concerned. And I actually went and saw my midwife, because I decided I wanted to have a midwife, because a midwife stays with you the entire time. You know what I mean? A doctor just comes in when it's time to push. And I just felt like having a midwife would be a better option for me. So that's what I chose. And I saw 3 different midwives, and there was one, what was her name? I can't remember what her name was. I think it was Diane or something like that, but I really meshed with her well. And she was actually the one that was there when I had my son. So it worked out great. But I had gone in for a checkup while I was pregnant, and I started having the Braxton Hicks, and I told her, I said, I'm having one right now. And she was like, oh, that's not a Braxton Hicks, that's a contraction. And I had been telling people it was a contraction, and everybody's, no, it's just Braxton Hicks. So I didn't go with my gut and do what I thought I needed to do, which was to go get checked out and make sure. So it was like happy and sad all at the same time. I'm going to go in with this right hand Mando, which is this color right here. And I'm just going to put it a little bit on the inner lid here. Kat actually sent me a video on Instagram of somebody taking 3 different colors and then using a brush. I have to try it. I'm going to have to try it. Sorry, I got kind of off track, but putting that on there just made me think of that. So I had to say something before I forgot about it. But getting back to early labor. So they hooked me up to a monitoring machine to monitor my contractions, and they ended up giving me I can't remember what it's called, but they gave me something to stop the contractions. I don't think my son liked that too much, because he ended up being 2 weeks late because of that. I think he was like, you don't want me to come when I want to come, then I'm going to stay in here for a little bit longer and make you very uncomfortable for an extra couple weeks. I actually did not go into labor on my own and my water didn't break. I had to schedule an induction. And we got to the hospital at like, I want to say 5 o'clock in the morning. And we got all checked in and everything, got up to the room. They gave me, I think they gave me a pill that I took. Now what do I want to do? Let's do some mascara. I have all my other mascara packed up, so I think we're going to try this Physicians Formula and see. Let me curl my lashes too. But once they gave me that stuff, it was funny too, because we would, you know, they said you can walk around because it would help, you know, get things going. So we got checked in and everything. They started maybe it was Pitocin or something like that. And we were walking around, and every time I would sit down, you know, like we walked down to the lobby, and I sat down and I went to get up, and I felt like I was cramping. And I kept telling my husband at the time, I don't know why I keep cramping. Turns out it was labor, it was contractions. But it feels like, I don't know. I used to try and explain to my ex-husband what like period cramps feel like, and that's kind of what it felt like. But I felt it more in my back. But even when I would have my period, I had, you know, a lot of pain in my back. But every time I stood up, it felt like I was cramping, and I kept telling my husband at the time, I was like, I don't know why I'm cramping. I keep cramping. To explain to him what period cramps and what like labor felt like, I told him, I said, just imagine that you have to poop really bad and you can't go, you know what I mean? Like when your tummy hurts when you have to go potty. He's like, what? I'm like, that's the only way that I could try to explain somehow what labor felt like. I think the most I got dilated to was like a 5 or a 6, and I labored all night. I ended up getting an epidural because I was doing really good without any pain meds. And I had a jacuzzi tub in the room, and I tried sitting in the tub. That was a big mistake. Sitting down in the tub was not a good idea. Let me see, liner. I'm going to use my KVD cake pencil for tight line. Is that what they call it? Yeah. No, you guys, I got it. The mascara is wet. That's okay, we'll fix it. But anyway, I was in labor all night. They had to come in and break my water. I wasn't progressing. The pain got really bad because they made me lay down, and standing up, I could handle it because I could sway back and forth. I could breathe through it. There was just something about standing up while I was in labor that made things much easier. Once they made me lay down in the bed, it was done. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, all right, time for, I need some pain meds. And they had given me something to take the edge off. It didn't take the edge off. And she said, it is taking the edge off. I said, no, it's not taking the edge off. So I ended up getting the epidural, and I remember falling asleep. And then everybody'd be like, oh, that was a good one. So I'm assuming they were watching the monitor because they had me hooked up to monitors to watch my contractions. Well, it got to like, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't progressing, and my son's heart rate kept fluctuating throughout the night, so they were keeping an eye on it. And like early in the morning, his heart rate went down. I'm just using this Hendian. It's like a blue. I'm just gonna put it in my waterline. It's not showing up very good though. Let me warm it up on my hand and see if that does any difference. But my son's heart rate dropped and it wouldn't come back up. So that's when I ended up having to go in for a C-section. And at first, I don't think they were going to let my husband come in because they had said, I'm going to try this lighter one and see how this goes. So I thought I was going to have to go through the whole thing by myself and that they were going to put me to sleep. But then last minute, they let my husband come in. And I remember him walking in and I was like, I thought they weren't going to let you come in. And I had been talking to the anesthesiologist as well. But once they gave me the like anesthesia, like I literally black out from that time until they wheeled me back into where I started from, the room that I was laboring in. I don't remember any of it, which is it's really hard because I don't remember him crying for the first time. I don't remember seeing him until I was back in the room. And my ex-husband, he told me that I was awake and I was talking the entire time. They would ask me questions. I would answer the questions, that I would tell them how I was feeling and everything, but I don't remember one bit of it. And I don't have a video of it either. So that kind of sucks, and you know, I think some people have a misconception of C-sections. Because you hear a lot of people say it's the easy way out. You know what I mean? And it's not. And I didn't ask for it. I had no choice. It was either do the C-section or not and risk something happening to my son, because his heart rate had dropped and it wasn't coming back up. And I didn't want to hurt my son either. And my sister had a C-section, had a C-section, and she did fine. But it was very painful and it was a very long recovery period. You know, not to say there isn't a recovery when you have a vaginal birth. There is, but it's not as long. Like the recovery time for me was 6 weeks. And even after 6 weeks, you know, you're so nervous. You're so nervous to do anything. Because you don't want to, at least I was. I don't know about other people, but having a C-section, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, you know, great either. And then I tried breastfeeding with my son, and for like 3 weeks, I used my Pure lip liner in On Point. I don't know why I can't remember that. Now I'm going to use this Posse Pink Avon and put that just right here. How's that look? But I should finish up my story really quick and then finish getting ready for work. And I got to clean up this mess right here. I'm trying to let it dry, and hopefully this trick works, or I'm just going to have to go over it. But it's really hard to not be able to remember that stuff. You know what I mean? It's a memory that I want to have and I don't have it. But it is what it is. What can you do? You know, things went the way they went, and I'm thankful that I have my son. But with the breastfeeding, like, he was using me as a pacifier. And so for like 3 weeks I tried, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get any sleep. And I finally went and got formula and made him a bottle, and he slept so good. And it was like, you know, relief, because I didn't have any help. And a lot of people don't have help. I understand that. But, you know, it was just difficult having a C-section, trying to heal. My ex-husband had to go back to work, so he wasn't there to help me either. Even for, you know, at least for the first 4 weeks, it would have been nice to have him home, or the first 3 weeks, which is why I think paternity leave is so important for men. I need to try and fix this. I'm going to go in with this color right here and just try and cover it up. Match up this side. I thought breastfeeding would be super easy for me because my sister did it like a champ. My mom used to tell me all the time how she breastfed all 3 of her girls. Blend this out a little bit. But I just couldn't do it. My milk supply wasn't coming in very good. He was just using me as a pacifier. I didn't know how much he was getting to eat. And it's very, it's hard, you know what I mean? When you don't know exactly what your kid's eating and if he's getting enough. And with a bottle, it was, the nice thing about the bottle was, I'm just going to put a little bit of this right hand Mando in the inner corner. But with a regular formula, I knew how much he was getting, you know, I knew he was eating. And when I was breastfeeding, I didn't. So, and it was hard because I wanted to be able to breastfeed. I really did. All right. But now he's a pain in my ass because he's 17 and he thinks he knows everything. I think I'm going to take a little bit of this So Juicy and put it on. But I love him to death, I really do. He can be such a good kid when he wants to be. All right, guys. That's my look for today. Happy St. Patrick's Day! I hope you all have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is, whatever time of day it is when you're watching this. If you're not subscribed, I hope that you'll join the family before you leave. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you didn't when you first got here. Leave a comment, say hi, let me know that you stopped by. Take care and stay safe. I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye. Thank you, Kat, so much for doing another week with me. I love you so much, and I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see your video. Bye.